We all know Alf, the alien from the planet Melmac who came down to the Tanner's house, crashed into their garage, lived in their laundry room, and always wanted to eat their cat. But did you know that Paul Fusco, the man who created Alf, had created an entire universe of characters before Alf ever existed? He was producing holiday specials, fantasy adventures, and quirky puppet stories, all while preparing for something big. Then Alf came along, and it exploded, leaving all of Fusco's other puppet creations behind.
I'm a diplomat from another planet.
Oh, you are.
Before Alf arrived, Paul Fusco was a ventriloquist, a puppet performer, and a magician. In his late 20s, he produced The Crown of Bog, a puppet special that aired in 1981. Fusco wrote it, performed it, and even funded it himself. The story revolved around a kingdom in need of a new king, with Prince Milo seemingly perfect until his uncle Vandrid interfered. This special was picked up by Showtime, and Fusco followed up on it with as many holiday specials as humanly possible. Over the next 4 years, he produced The Valentine's Day That Almost Wasn't, Santa's Magic Toy Bag, A Far Out Fourth, A Thanksgiving Tale, An Easter Story, and another Halloween special called The Moonstone Gem. During this time, Fusco honed his craft in writing, production, and all aspects of puppetry on television. He was following in the footsteps of Jim Henson, who had revolutionized TV puppetry. Before Henson, TV puppetry was mostly ventriloquist dummies like Howdy Doody or Charlie McCarthy, or simple puppets like Beanie and Cecil and Kukla and Ollie. Henson transformed how puppets were seen and perceived by the audience, which was both a blessing and a curse for people like Fusco. On one hand, the roadmap was already there, and all he had to do was follow a path rather than blaze a new trail. On the other hand, all puppet productions were now compared to the slick produced Muppet machine. During these pre-Alf holiday specials, Paul Fusco met the married couple Lisa Buckley and Bob Fapiano. Both were puppeteers, and Fapiano was accomplished in puppet design. They began working together regularly, eventually collaborating on a show called Kids Time with TX Critter.
Welcome to the Kids Time Express this afternoon.
Paul Fusco performed and voiced TX along with Buckley in what became the blueprint for Alf. The eventual workings of Alf involved Fusco performing the mouth and the head of the puppet, as well as providing the voice, while Buckley operated the left arm and Fapiano controlled the face and ear movements via remote. As they were working for TX Critter, Paul Fusco found out that his manager, Bernie Brilliantstein, was also the manager for Tom Patchett. Patchett was a seasoned sitcom writer who had written for The Bob Newhart Show and The Carol Burnett Show. He also wrote the story for The Muppets Take Manhattan and had co-written The Great Muppet Caper. Brilliantstein arranged a meeting between the two, and they hit it off, and Fusco pitched him a show about a puppet alien. With Patchett on board, the character of Alf was developed into a full-fledged sitcom concept. Fusco brought the puppet, Patchett brought the sitcom expertise. Together, they created a world where Alf could live in a real household and interact with live actors in believable ways. Alf premiered in 1986 and was an instant success, and soon the marketing machine started cranking out tons of products with his face on them. Alf branded merchandise ranked number 4 amongst all toy brands in 1986. He was behind G.I. Joe, Barbie, and the Pogo Ball. There was also a very popular electronic Alf talking toy, as well as one that had a push-button voice box. A TV commercial for the Alf talking doll featured Candace Cameron from Full House, alongside Emily Schumann from Small Wonder and Casey Ellison from Punky Brewster. This was like the Avengers of 80s to 90s sitcoms. Alf also appeared on Matlock in the most unlikely of cameos. In front of the camera, all was going well. Behind the camera was a different story. The show's production was incredibly demanding. Fusco had to perform Alf's mouth and head for every take, while Buckley and Fapiano managed the arms, ears, and other facial expressions. Coordinating all that on a full set full of actors and script changes and production deadlines led to a lot of stress. On top of that, the network pressure and the relentless marketing machine added another layer of tension, reminding everyone that ALF was no longer just a puppet. ALF was a full-blown brand. The ALF series ended abruptly in March of 1990 after 102 episodes and 4 seasons. The final episode of the 4th season is a cliffhanger called Consider Me Gone. ALF is captured by the alien task force, who are determined to study him and contain him. The episode ends with ALF captured and the Tanners, as well as the audience at home, looking on, wondering what was going to happen to their beloved alien from Melmac. Paul Fusco and NBC had discussed a continuation, but network priorities and rating pressures prevented a proper conclusion at the time. After ALF ended his live-action run, ALF continued in animation. The first ALF animated series was called ALF, the Animated Series, and it showed ALF's life on Melmac. It was a prequel and showed what happened before the planet of Melmac was destroyed. It explored his family, his friends, and his home world in a way that the live-action show couldn't, and it gave fans more of the quirky alien world that Paul Fusco had envisioned. The second series was called ALF Tales. It was more of a fantastical twist, placing ALF and his Melmac friends into classic storybook adventures, essentially retelling fairy tales with a Melmacian twist. Both series allowed Fusco and his team to expand ALF's universe and explore puppetry-inspired storytelling in an animated form, though neither achieved the massive success of the live-action sitcom. Together, these animated spin-offs kept ALF in the public eye, reinforced the merchandising opportunities, and allowed the creative experimentation with the character without the constraints of live-action production. There was also a comic book, trading cards, and appearances on everything from Hollywood Squares to Blossom. As the series was ending, Fusco tried to continue with puppet-based entertainment. In 1989, he produced The Wickedest Witch. This was an NBC production starring Rue McClanahan from The Golden Girls and Burgess Meredith from the Rocky movies, and a lot of puppets, including a green monster who looked and sounded an awful lot like ALF.
I haven't seen you this happy since they discovered scurvy.
In 1990, Paul Fusco made A Very Retail Christmas, a puppet parody of the Christmas season and commercialism, and it starred Ed O'Neill from Married with Children. It also featured Mr. Belvedere himself, Christopher Hewitt, and Sam Whipple. But even with recognizable stars, these productions didn't capture the heart of the audience and the attention that ALF did. So Paul Fusco tried his hand at animation again with a show called Space Cats, which truly owed a lot to the ALF animated series. After this, Paul seemed to realize that lightning might never strike again, and the public still wanted more ALF. So the character was revived in a TV movie, Project ALF, which aired in 1996. This movie reunited ALF with the Alien Task Force plotline and finally showed what happened after he was captured, but it doesn't feature any of the original actors. It gave closure to viewers, but it didn't have the same charm as the original series. ALF then co-hosted a talk show on TV Land called ALF's Hit Talk Show. In this, he had Ed McMahon as a sidekick. He also did collect call commercials with Hulk Hogan, and he appeared on The O'Reilly Factor. Fusco was able to revive the character from time to time with appearances in various TV shows, including The Love Boat, Young Sheldon, and even voicing ALF on an episode of The Simpsons in 2023. Paul Fusco never got out of the shadow of his biggest creation, but perhaps it's a powerful shadow to stand under. ALF brought entertainment and happiness to generations, and there's still talk of a revival, and I can tell you, if they bring ALF back, I'll be watching. Interestingly, Lisa was the one to break out of ALF's shadow. She ended up working on Sesame Street playing Betty Lou and other puppet characters. And Bob Fabiano? Well, he got his own holiday on Melmac.
Thanksgiving on Melmac wasn't called Thanksgiving. It was called Fabiano.
Paul Fusco's career is a story of ambition, creativity, and timing. He built a foundation of pre-ALF specials, perfected the art of puppetry performance, and created a character that became a pop culture supernova. His other puppet creations may be forgotten today, but they laid the groundwork for ALF, a puppet that absolutely changed the 1980s. Well, that's going to do it for this one. I'll see you next time.